Welcome to the fifth ever Football Foes and Fandom Woes podcast with myself, Austin Barkley, a Tottenham fan, former professional footballer, football coach, PE teacher, and co-host and fellow football coach and PE teacher, and Arsenal fan, Phil Norman, talk all things football. Now, today's episode is going to be all about England. We had the majestic performance against Mexico on Monday morning, which, to be honest, I'm still recovering from. I went straight to work. Straight to work pretty much from watching that performance. But I have to say it was well worth it. I actually nearly missed the game because I thought the game, when they said Monday morning, in my head, I had it as Monday night going into like Tuesday morning, thinking it was that Monday morning.
Only you.
Yeah, only me. So thankfully, someone corrected me and I probably obviously would have known by the time it was coming round, but yeah. So glad I stayed up and was able to watch it. So what are your thoughts on the game? I mean, obviously it was incredible, but I'd like to hear your point of view.
Football, goals, sending offs, Wonderwall. It just ticked every box. You know, I mean, so many people have said it's arguably, the biggest and best performance in an England shirt for a long time, or from an England squad for a long time. I'm trying to think of other games that have kind of got you on the edge. I go back to David Beckham scoring a free kick against Greece last minute at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a few in recent times. Obviously, I go back to the England-Germany 5-1.
Yeah.
That's a night to remember. I think in World Cups, I don't think there's been many better. And it's a real difficult one, isn't it, with tournament play? Because you want to you have to enjoy and embrace the moment, but equally you still have to strip it back and go, we've only got into a quarter final.
I know. I agree, mate. I know. It was so, like, you're right. Absolutely. It was so
joyous,
empowering and joyous. It was absolutely majestic. It was brilliant. The adrenaline was pumping all through the game at the end of the game. But you're right. That sort of monumental performance, and we've only got into the quarter final.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was going to ask you where you thought that game ranked. My first tournament I ever watched was in '82, then '86, and I think in '86 we had the Hand of God game against
at the
Azteca, yeah. So we kind of buried a few demons there, I think, in that performance. But 1990 was probably one of the major ones for England when we got to the semi-final, and we lost to Germany. Obviously, we had Gazza's tears, and Gazza was absolutely incredible in that performance. In terms of like England performances away, that 1990 World Cup was amazing. I think that was up there with it, to be honest, in terms of like obviously going into the Lions Den. Like you said, the crowd, the atmosphere, the hostility, being slightly the underdogs, altitude, and everything that was going against England, sending offs. I mean, we'll talk about that in a bit, about some of the decisions, whether we agree or disagree with them. And then playing like 20 minutes and then 11 minutes of added time, which went into like 30 minutes, and defending like for our lives. It was incredible. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, in recent times, it's probably one of the best England performances we've seen in a tournament.
It's the best performance under Tuchel, isn't it? By a long way.
Yeah. I mean, he's been going up to that next level, and England definitely did. And it was interesting. I saw an interview with Barry's assistant, and he was talking about that they believe that they can go all the way because what they see in training, they've seen the level, they know what the highest level is. They obviously Tuchel's managed it at PSG, well, all over like Europe. Yeah, exactly. And he's worked with him, and they've seen what the highest level is, and they believe they've seen that in training. And he was saying also, which is quite interesting, and was he still thinks we're playing with a handbrake on, and he said that going into the Norway game, he hopes that we can play without the handbrake on, which is another interesting thing because obviously they feel that there's a lot more progression from this England team.
And how exciting is it to hear that, by the way, after that game, which has got so many people on the edge of their seats? If that is the case, well, these next 3 games potentially.
I know, it's really exciting because I don't know about you, but I think it's been a long time, if ever really, I've heard maybe Terry Venables to a certain extent, and your analysis, but I never heard like a manager and a coach, first team coach, be so positive and on the front foot and talking up about England. Have you?
There's
It's
a real
always been
genuine
quite.
belief. In that.
Yeah, it does. You're absolutely right. It does come across that they have absolutely genuine belief in the squad that they picked from the beginning, what they're doing, how they're training, how they're applying themselves, everything, and that commitment to trying to win this World Cup. So if we look at the Mexico and break it down a bit, what are your positives? And let's start with the positives. What are the positives?
I think the massive positive is the squad depth is
Yeah,
huge. The squad depth is something that's been talked about a lot. You know, Tuchel's obviously gone in a direction that many wouldn't have. Again, we don't want to hark on about the players that he's left behind, but it's only in games like this that really justify and prove your decisions at the end of the day. And if ever there was a blueprint of kind of how he wanted to play the playing against adversity, you know, where I think Tuchel really comes into his own when there's a bit of backs to the wall, when there's a bit of ag. I feel like Tuchel has that kind of real elite psychological ability to create that world is against us scenario, and the England players bounce off that. And
yeah, yeah. I think it's really interesting you said that because at the end of the game, when he gave his like reporting interview off about the game, he's talking about the referees being terrible,
yeah,
like creating all that adversity, and he was kind of creating what you just said there, that us against the world
yeah.
type mentality, wasn't it? I think it was,
And it's
which
about
is really
alleviating pressure, isn't it? It's that reverse psychology bit. It's putting everything back onto everyone else. It's making referees think, "Oh, am I against England? Am I being professional? Am I doing my job to the best of my ability?" And I think, you know, I really like Southgate for what he's done. He's created a foundation for Tuchel to come in and build on. And I think, you know, was Southgate quite a pragmatic manager? Yes. Was a lot of his football exhilarating and exciting? Possibly not always, but you're starting to see the difference between a really, really good manager, in my opinion, to an elite manager. And it's not always about the performances, because again, we've spoken about tournament play, haven't we? And building up, which is what we're seeing. And like you said, with Anthony Barry saying about how he still feels like England can get to, you know, levels way above what they've
yeah,
performed thus far. But it's also about that genuine. But we spoke in the first podcast when we listened to Tuchel, you just can't help but go, "I'm with it. Like I'm on this boat and I'm rolling with you. Like oh, you tell me how quick I got to row, and I'm rowing as quick
yeah,
as you need me to." And then, as I said, you hear the players in all these interviews this week. So many times you hear from you almost hear that media perfect interview of it's the
yeah,
next game, it's the next
yeah,
game. To hear these players going, "No, we are in with a shout at this World Cup." That to me is not something we're used to. Definitely not from an England team in really many sports. I love it. You know, and if you've got a group of players that genuinely looking in that camera going, "We're going to win this competition," how can you not roll with them as
yeah,
an English
yeah.
person? It's brilliant to see and
Yeah, I think
brilliant
we're
to
not. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think we're totally not used to.
dare to dream.
I know this positivity, this belief that we can play even better, that we're going to be on
Mm,
the front foot. And it's interesting you mentioned Gareth Southgate. Like you said, he did a brilliant job and he got us to two finals, a semi-final, quarter-final in four tournaments. I mean, that cannot be underestimated. I know he had his criticism in certain games where people felt that he didn't adapt quick enough or react to situations that were happening. But like you said, I think Tuchel, I mean, obviously, we're only at the quarter-final stage. I say obviously, if he got knocked out here, then he's probably going to get criticism and obviously the comparisons with Gareth.
definitely.
So, you know what I mean? For him, I guess he needs to at least get to a semi-final, doesn't he, to sort of compare when they're talking about him and Gareth as England managers. But the way that he talks, like you said, it's just, he always comes across so, and we spoke about this quite a lot, haven't we? The way he communicates to the media, he's got no, he does not care one thing about what the media says. He's got his ideas, him and Anthony Barry, and they're just going to total belief in what they're doing and the way they're setting up, the way they're training, the way they're preparing for all these fixtures. And it's really refreshing. Even Anthony Barry's interviews at half time, We've never heard anything like that, have we?
And let's be brutally honest, we've spoken about halftime interviews. It's such a strange phenomenon. I hate it.
Yeah,
I genuinely just get down the tunnel, do your bit, get back
exactly,
out.
exactly. Yeah,
But
exactly.
actually, I don't know. Like you said, Anthony Barry's almost made it exciting, and I'm like, oh yeah, like let's go for the second half. Let's get
Yeah,
back
yeah.
out.
And I think I know to be honest, everyone's criticised the hydration breaks, but for England, they've been incredibly beneficial, haven't they? Because Tuchel's got into them and Anthony Barry's got into them, and they've always come out like another level up from when they've gone in before the hydration break.
Absolutely.
So they're really earning their corn. We said that before, I think, and
And that's
that's
the
a
in-game management, isn't it? I think that goes back to what I just said about, you're going from the good, really good manager in Southgate to an elite manager. It's about having impact with absolute clarity in what you say, having impact and absolute clarity of your substitutions, your tactical tweaks, whatever it is. I know we'll speak about, again, as we are with the Mexico game and those changes that he had to make that were more enforced than maybe what he would have made at the time. But his ability to just be one step ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what did you think when he went to a back five, didn't he? He went quite early, actually.
It
And
did.
I was thinking myself, is that a little bit too early to be doing that? But to be fair, he called it. He brought in Stones, he brought in Dan Burn and Jez Spence, who all three, when they came on, were absolutely fantastic. Defending was immense. They were throwing their bodies in front of shots. They were heading everything away. I think Dan Burn came on and made the most amount of headers of any player
One of
in
the
the
headers,
whole.
one of the headers he cleared from the area into the opponent's half.
I know it was.
Unreal.
They were absolutely all incredible. I guess
A massive shout out to Pickford as well in that defensive display.
definitely.
He
I
owned
was
his
going to come on
box.
to him. Yeah. If we
Yeah,
look at some individual performances, without a doubt, that was by far and away his best
his
game for
best.
England in this tournament. He was absolutely brilliant. So hopefully he can
100%.
maintain that level. We're going to need him for that sort of performance in the next game against Norway. But like you said, he was
Definitely.
coming out for crosses. He was being dominant. He made some great saves. He seemed a lot less anxious. We spoke about that, haven't we? About him being a bit over aroused and a bit
He had
too.
more to do. And again, we know, I'm not here to give him an SEN diagnosis as a teacher, but he is, he is very frenetic. And when you're involved, when you're that frenetic, you calm down. When
Yeah,
there's a lot of time on your hands and a lot of thinking time, decisions can be a little bit more fraught. So I do think in games like that, you see the best version of Pickford. And again, goalkeepers they're a strange breed, aren't they? They're loose cannons. You've got to be able to put your head at the feet of a striker or whatever it may be. But
definitely. Yeah,
he
yeah.
was fully immersed in that game, the atmosphere, but a really controlled and measured, confident performance. And I just sat there and all the plaudits he got that night, along with the others, he fully deserved.
No, definitely. And I guess we go through some of the performances. Obviously, Harry Kane and Bellingham stepped up again. Were absolutely
Not
immense. I
world
mean,
class.
well, apparently he is now. They're all saying that Bellingham is
Oh,
now
he is
world class. So
fine.
they've actually sort of come to the party a little bit. But
Took him
how
6 games or whatever
how
it
great
was.
was Bellingham in that performance? He was
It's
absolutely immense. He was
11.7K.
outstanding.
Yeah, 11.7K in that altitude and heat and the amount of sprints, his efficiency in front of goal. Those late runs into the box. Beautiful from Pickford claiming what he made look a really simple claim, which actually was quite a difficult claim with the on-rushing Mexican
Yeah,
striker
yeah,
and
yeah.
defender as
Start the
well.
first goal.
Rolled
Yeah,
out to Rice, 60 metres, 70 metres up the pitch, which we spoke about, these physical, powerful midfielders. That was the difference in that 90 seconds. You know, Great play into Saka, beautiful inch perfect cross with the most beautifully timed run into the box from
yeah.
Bellingham. And again, a simple header, but
The good
many have
thing with that
fluffed it.
as well, yeah, the good thing with that, Kane took the two defenders. He made a little run, didn't he, to near post, and two defenders went with
So
him, and Bellingham exploited the
just
space
went
and
off the
got on the
back.
end of the cross. And it's a
Second one,
simple header, but you still got to make sure you finish it. And
got to execute. And that
absolutely,
pressure. And then 96 seconds later, Anderson literally from
yeah,
kickoff, front press, job
great,
done.
yeah, great
Jumps,
press.
Andy Gordon into Kane. Cheers, Bellingham. See you later. 2
Yeah, it
0
was
and you
brilliant.
know, we're kicking on. But it was, yeah. I mean, Kane and Bellingham, what a partnership it's only Rashford who's the other goal scorers in this tournament.
I mean,
For us.
again, that might be something we want to discuss a bit when we're talking about the Norway game, about other people maybe contributing a bit more in terms of goals. But if Kane and Bellingham are still going to keep putting in the goals, then maybe that could be enough. We see it with Argentina and Messi a lot, don't we? So,
Mbappe again, they're playing for. It seems like the foundation we've got in the England team is all set up to allow Bellingham and Kane to take all the plaudits. I'm all for that. Like you said, Messi, Mbappe, Haaland. You know, Odegaard is Haaland's foil, and the rest of the team do their job. You know, Mbappe does his, and you've got Elise and Dembele. Oh, maybe France are slightly more prolific across that front four, but our front two, you know, you've got a foundation that is just allowing them to play their best football. And like you said,
so I was looking at some stats, and in the top 10 performance, like Opta stats that they do, in the top 10 players in the World Cup, England have got 4 players: Kane, Bellingham, Rice, and Anderson. 4 that we've kind of mentioned in every podcast about how it would be. Yeah, exactly, the core. So yeah, I think also Anthony Gordon deserves like a massive praise for that performance. He came on against DR Congo and he got a couple of assists. And obviously that done him a world good. And he was absolutely brilliant against Mexico, where maybe had a bit more space to exploit and run into, but they couldn't really live with him. And that's, for me, that's his best performance in an England shirt that I've seen him play.
And he's funny.
I saw him out. Yeah, absolutely. Because he helped press for the second goal, didn't he? Won the ball back and then set up Bellingham, who played it to Kane and then got the return. But it's interesting. He was saying that, because I saw an interview with him, I think it was yesterday, and he was talking about that where he'd been injured towards the end of the season for Newcastle, he was still finding his feet a bit. And he said when he first played the first 2 games in the group stages, he felt quite rusty. He wasn't feeling himself like he would normally. And he said that he wasn't as positive as he would normally be. So he kind of made like a note to himself that when he came on again, he was going to be really positive and he was going to play like he knows that he can. He said he felt he's starting to get his rhythm back and his flow and his confidence. And so that's interesting because people don't realise that when you have been injured, if you don't have that run of games, it's sometimes hard to get that rhythm going. It's not easy always just to come back in and just hit where you sort of finished before you got injured. I mean, if you look
in your body, isn't it?
Exactly, and you can sort of see that with Lamine Yamal a little bit, can't you? Where he's had that injury and he's sort of come back into the Spanish team, but he's not quite hitting the heights that everyone expects from him, even though he's still doing well, but maybe not the level of what he might expect and what everyone else expects that he can perform at. Yeah. If you mean, everyone's saying it's one of the best World Cups because all the top players have come out to play. I mean, it's just incredible, the race for the Golden Boot. Now with Messi on 8, Mbappe last night scored another, he's on 8, Haaland's on 7, Kane on 6, Dembele got one yesterday, he's on 5, Bellingham's on 4. It's just
outrageous.
It's brilliant. It is outrageous. Absolutely. We've never seen, I don't think, a World Cup like this. What's that? He should be, yeah. Mbappe should be on 9. The penalties. You think, the thing is, for them, and their ability, 2 of the easiest opportunities for them to score in terms of penalties, and they're...
Well, Messi would have only been 5 away from my prediction. Now he's 7.
Yeah.
Got to look at himself. What's he done in football?
So obviously, Anthony Gordon was brilliant. I thought Saka did well. He's still getting some criticism. I think it's really unfair. He was that little drop of his shoulder and the cross was absolutely fantastic. And he set up the first goal and he got something. And he was unfortunate that obviously with the Jarell Quansah sending off, then he got taken off. But
I don't think he was far away. I don't think he was far. I think an hour is probably max of what he would have played anyway. I don't think maybe 70 minutes at a push. So look, the red card was unfortunate, and maybe Saka coming off is a bit kind of incidental with that. But I don't, again, you're looking at the deeper rounds for him to play as much football as you can. So but what I do think with Saka is, and I said it, I think in the last pod, is his football IQ supported on side. Powerful.
Because Quansah obviously went to right back, didn't he, when Stones come on for Jarell Quansah. I mean, Quansah and Gay look like in that game they're developing more of a partnership. I think, like you said, O'Reilly, again, considering his age,
he speaks so well as well. And I listened to an interview
Yeah,
with him earlier. Yeah, he's matured beyond his years.
he has. And again, he's not a natural like left
He's number
back, and
9.
it's
That's
just
how he's only playing number 9, what, 3-4 years ago in the Man City academy. It's and again, massive talent ID and finding something in someone. Um, and he's a physical monster. What is he?
he
Six
is. You
two,
don't realise, do you?
3?
Until you see him standing against some of the other England players, you realise how tall he is, how physically big
Yeah,
he is. But he can
unbelievable.
play. He's so calm in possession, isn't he? In like a game of that magnitude, with the hostility of the fans, the atmosphere, like being under pressure,
And he's
and he
another
was.
one that
Yeah, he
handles
does.
consistently well.
Yeah, seeing an interview of him, he said he's been a bit gutted that he's hit the bar, isn't he? And he had a header where he hit the bar.
Yeah,
That
against
was
Ghana
against
for World
Ghana,
Cup.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Then he's hit the post against Mexico. So he said that he feels a goal is coming, and you wouldn't put it past him, would you? Really?
I've seen it, sadly, in the Carabao Cup final.
I didn't want to say.
Yeah, no, it still hurts now. But I mean, look, he's English. It softens the blow slightly. But he's been a revelation. But then, you sometimes have to pull yourself back and go. I thought Rico Lewis a couple of years ago was exactly that, and I thought Miles Lewis-Skelly was exactly that
Yeah,
a year ago. So it's interesting.
it is, yeah, especially with young players. They burst onto the scene, and then for a season, they're incredible, aren't they? But obviously, playing at that level, you've got to sustain it over season after season. But the interesting thing about Miles Skelly, now you brought him up, is he going to become like a number 6 potentially for Arsenal? Because when he went in there towards the end of the season for you, he done brilliantly, didn't he?
He was superb, and again, that's his natural position. And I do think there's a real big thing about trying to get your best players into teams, and sometimes it means they pick up a different position. And I get,
Yeah,
but there's nothing easier, and I use the word easy very loosely, but playing in your best, most natural position. We saw it with Jed, didn't we? And again, another proud moment the other night with his performance coming on. But when he played on the left, look how much more natural it was to
yeah,
him playing on the right. And I think he's look, that I still stick to it. I think he's done a good job in general. But playing your most natural position, it is that little bit easier. You're
yeah.
more comfortable. You don't have to overthink. And yeah,
It's
I think
yeah. I think it's
what's
interesting with We'll talk about him when coming up in terms of the Norway game. Who we think's going to play right back? What's he going to do? I mean, we look at Margay. Potentially, he might be injured, but
yeah,
that could just be a smoke screen potentially to
very too
throw off
smoke.
the. You know what it can
Yeah,
be like. I think. Let's have a look at some of the big decisions. So the England penalty, without doubt, was a penalty all day long. What do you think about the one that Harry Kane gave away? Do you think that was a penalty?
it's a modern day soft penalty. At the end of the
Yeah,
day, if it was if I was if it was the other way around, I expect a penalty. So if
yeah,
my mentality is I expect a penalty, I've got to be respectful and honest and say it's a penalty.
yeah.
I as much as the referee got a bit of tap for his overall performance, probably in the key decisions, he probably got all 3 right.
I
It is
think
a
so.
it's a
Yeah,
soft pen and not one that sits massively.
yeah. I think you're right. I think they were probably right to call it back. If it was the other way around, then we would probably be calling for a penalty now. I guess it's
Would it have happened though? If it was the other way around? I don't know.
yeah, it's a very good question. I guess we had one similar in terms against Croatia, didn't we? Where Madueke was clipped by
But that was given on
Modric.
field. That's the
That
difference.
was, yeah,
So that's given on field. And if it's not
yeah,
clear and obvious, you're not going to override it. This one, if the ball's on the other foot, I don't know. I mean, as I said, it does, whatever we say about referees, it is such a tough job.
yeah,
And I get it. It's human error is human error. We all see things differently, however many times you watch it. But the bit which I know we'll come on to in the next bit, is you've got to get processes right. So if you show a still is always very difficult to actually see the overall picture. So you've got to see the overall picture first and then break things down rather than break it down and then show the overall.
yeah. And I guess, yeah, I think in the modern game, like you said, that is a penalty. The ref didn't give it. Is it a clear and obvious mistake? I guess VAR are sorry, going to always intervene, I think, in a situation like that, especially in the penalty area.
In
So,
Mexico.
yeah, in Mexico, yeah. So I guess that was the correct decision, even though it hurt us quite a bit. The Jarell Quansah one, It is a red card, you think?
It is, and again, it's so unlucky. He's got the ball first,
I know,
and
I know.
if he'd gone in the middle of the ball, he would have just gone through the ball
Yeah,
and made the player.
exactly. Yeah,
He's just sadly gone the top end of the ball, gone over the
I know.
ball, and he's left sadly the referee again no decision. But incidentally, he didn't give it on the pitch. So
Yeah,
a whole minute went on, and VAR have intervened again and probably come to the right decision, but a very
it's a
very
it's a
unlucky one.
difficult one because he hasn't gone to perform
There's no
that
malice.
tackle on. Yeah, there's no malice.
No,
He's gone to
no
try and
intent.
win the ball, and like I said, his foot sits off the top of the ball, and he's caught the guy, and it looks a lot worse than what the
It's
intention was.
and the issue again, like I said about the processes, is they got the process wrong. That's not okay at the elite level. At international football, Premier League football, Champions League football, if a process is there and it's set out by FIFA, follow it. Don't show a still first and then
Yeah,
show the actual
yeah,
replay of the whole thing. That is inexcusable.
yeah,
It's like drawing the lines on an offside wrong. Inexcusable. Luckily, they've got the automated stuff, which is much better. And why
yeah. I mean, talking about FIFA, wow. So Balogun, obviously for US of A, gets sent off. There's
yeah,
no appeal. Everyone who gets a sending off, it's a
it's
one
been
game
trouble.
ban. Like you cannot appeal it. There's no process to appeal. Obviously, Donald Trump gets involved. FIFA, for whatever reason, can't say to him, "This is the rules. This is for everyone. The same for everyone." No, they get an independent inquiry that looks at it and go, "Oh, actually, that's not a sending off. It was a bit unlucky." And he gets his suspension removed and he plays, which I think has really hindered the American team overall. It did. And it put everything that they'd done not into question, but for that performance, you could tell that it wasn't sitting right with everyone. And I guess justice was done in a certain way that Belgium went through.
It was done in brutal fashion.
It
Belgium were
was.
excellent.
And
Albeit,
then,
by the way, USA gifted them 3
yeah,
of those 4 goals.
yeah. And then obviously Jarell Quansah gets sent off. He gets a game ban. We thought, but no, we find out yesterday that is actually a 2-game ban. I
Yeah,
mean, how has he got a 2-game ban and everyone else has been sent off a straight red card, has got 1-game ban? He's a young boy who's tried to make a tackle, and obviously, like we said, the intention wasn't there, but it's come off worse than what he hoped, and he rightfully got a red card. And then he's 21, 22, whatever age he is. He's going to miss now 2 games in the biggest competition in the world that comes around every 4 years. So he would have got sent off thinking, if we get through this, at least I might be potentially being involved for the semi-final. And he's going to miss a quarter-final and a semi-final of a World Cup.
deemed serious foul play, I think was the word, wasn't it? The tackle was deemed serious foul play, which therefore FIFA have set out is a 2-game ban irrespective, and you cannot challenge it. It is ridiculous. I think, and I'm going to throw this out there as well. I think the whole yellow card carrying into the next games is also like you want the best players
Exactly.
deep in this competition.
Yeah.
If worst case scenario happens against Norway and we lose and we get Bellingham, Kane, Rice, and another, which I think is Gay, all get yellow cards, you potentially going into the Argentina or Switzerland game with 4 of your best first
Yeah.
team or your
Yeah.
starting 11 not playing. That's insane. Like even if it's like past around a 16, yellow cards just on that game. Yellow cards just on that game.
I agree, mate. I agree.
Cool. It's your best competition. Like you imagine some of these prices I've heard, 30, 40 grand for a ticket to go
Yeah.
on some of these games. And you can't watch Harry Kane or Lionel Messi because they're both, or it was Haaland and Kane this weekend. And then next weekend, potentially it's a Bellingham and a Messi out for the Argentina.
Yeah. With a red card, I get it. Miss the next game.
Agreed.
Like, there has to be some sort of
Sanction.
sanction.
Well, you can
firstly
suppose you
for
can
that.
just get suspended sentences now, according to Trump.
Well, yeah.
Other than
Like Trump said, like you said, no one wants to watch these games without the best players playing, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I agree. The yellow cards, you get a yellow card in the game, you get a yellow card in the game. The next game, it should just be you get another yellow card. There should be no suspension for 2 yellow cards. Some of these games, they're playing at such a high speed, And especially if you're playing like in the midfield or well anywhere really on the pitch, if you're trying to make tackles, you don't always make a tackle to try like a poor tackle or to stop the play. Or so yeah, I agree. I think yellow cards, you get a yellow card in a game, the next game should just be done.
I mean,
like Trump said,
I
will say, like Trump said, you don't want to watch Argentina without Messi playing when he was trying to make his statement.
There you go. Well, I mean, it's. I mean, I think the whole World Cup so far has been based around Argentina, isn't it? I think everything is. If you could have dreamed of anything and everything, I think Infantino's has got a bit of an Argentinian fetish, I believe. So you know, and maybe Trump's followed. But I will say on that point though, as a devil's advocate to that point, is you could get the Mourinho-esque style mentality of if yellow cards don't carry, the way the game's played might be slightly different. There might be a lot more time wasting. There might be a lot more kind of professional fouls, should we say?
So that is a good point. Yeah,
I do get why it's there, but I think specifically from the last 8, there has to be almost a rule of all the yellow cards are kind of done and dusted. You need your best players. I want to face the best Norway. You know, if we get through, I want to face the best Argentina and Switzerland. And if we get through, look, I want to face the best France or Belgium or Spain. That's what I want, because then at least you can look at yourselves and go, I've beaten the best there was.
Yeah,
and that's what it should all be about. If it's that is, you know, World Cup is the pinnacle. Beat the pinnacle teams.
Yeah, and also it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You get to World Cup final. It doesn't happen very often, maybe for France, but not for a lot of other teams. Definitely. So anyone who's got a suspension, it should just all be lifted. I think, to be fair, didn't France do that in the last World Cup or the World Cup before? Someone was meant to miss it and they went to FIFA and said, like, whoever it was, they said that they can play, because they also said that it's not fair. A World Cup final, Definitely. Everyone should have the opportunity to play who's in the squad. So that was really good of them. Right, so England now in their 11th quarter final, which is really, really interesting because we are the 3rd most successful nation to reach the quarter finals. So only ahead of us in achieving and reaching more quarterfinals is Brazil with 15 and Germany with 14. So we're in our 11th quarter final. So our conversion rate in terms of them progressing isn't always that great. If you think that Brazil won the trophy 5 times, so 1 in every 3 quarterfinals they're going to progress to a final, which is amazing. Germany the same, but even less than 14 quarterfinals. And then obviously with us, we've gone to 1 final and 2 semi-finals. So it's looking like 1 in every 4. So let's hope we can improve that statistic on Saturday and win this quarterfinal, even though we know that even though we're perceived as being slight favourites, I think it's going to be a very 50-50 game. I think all these knockout games are, I don't think, unless you're, the only team I would say that are clear favourites is probably France in the games that they played.
Agreed.
If they get Spain in the semi-final, then I would say that was a bit different. But I don't think in any of the other knockout games there is clear favourite. I think they're all 50-50. There's so much jeopardy involved. And taking into consideration refereeing decisions, VAR, and all of those things that can affect the result. So
there's so many.
I know. It's incredible, isn't it? They haven't, no. I'll have to say, as good as they are, it's been quite a hard watch watching Spain.
It's not been pretty. It's not been, I agree, it's not been enjoyable. It's been very, I mean, I would use the word earlier about pragmatic. They've been very efficient, very pragmatic. I mean, they started off with a 0-0 against, was it Cape Verde or Curacao? Cape Verde, wasn't it?
Cape Verde, yeah.
And then, you know, they haven't really, but then that's the worry, isn't it? Teams like that, you go, well, you're not really at your strap yet. And you just kind of go, please don't. But France have been, they've been beautiful to watch, like you said. There's others, but let's get.
Yeah, so we've got Norway in the quarterfinals. Everyone knows. Obviously, their main threat, and they do have other threats. So I think everyone's concentrating on Haaland, rightly so, because he's an absolute killer. He's a machine.
Who, by the way,
he's
could have been.
I know. Can you imagine that with Elise as well? But there you go.
Yeah.
In another lifetime, maybe.
Correct.
But Haaland, we saw in a Brazil game, it's incredible that someone who can be so look so disinterested at the time, have such limited amount of touches in the game, not be involved in the build-up, receives the ball in the 18-yard area or in the box, comes to life, and you destroy Brazil in 5 minutes against a player that obviously, Gabriel, one of your boys,
He's got one up on him, though, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, he knows him really, really well and couldn't stop him. And obviously Marquinhos is as well, two of the best centre-backs in the world, by the way. Yeah.
Final centre-back.
Couldn't stop him. First header was a great header. A little bit of a similar run that it was to Kane, wasn't he, when he sort of come from behind the defender and then got in front.
And it's
you feel, though, they should have got closer to him, shouldn't they?
Oh, but on both.
Yeah. They should have closed. Yeah. I mean, for those two of that experience and that, like how brilliant they are, not to have got tighter to him, made it a bit more harder for him was quite amazing, really.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was saying to you in the game, like when we were messaging each other, that I've never seen a Brazil team sort of hand over possession of the ball to another team before and just sort of play as a counter-attacking team. Normally, from Brazil teams in the past, they dominate. It's hard. It's trying to get the ball off of them because they keep the ball so well, and they just seemed happy to let Norway have the ball. And I just found that really. And it kind of in the second half felt like they were it felt like Norway were going to score. I know Brazil, obviously, Guimarães missed that penalty, which was a big miss for them. If they'd gone 1-0 up, the game might have been different. And then obviously Hendrick came on and probably should have scored when he went through. And again, if they went 1-0 up there, it might have been different again. But as a whole, like you said, for Brazil, it just seemed really strange to me to watch them like see possession to Norway and sit back and let them have the ball, let them build up. Not that they were building up loads of momentum in an attacking sense, but just probably building up confidence, thinking we're dominating the ball here against Brazil. And then it kind of, over the time, led to the 2 goals that they scored. So it was kind of strange for me to see a Brazilian, not just in that game, but play like that throughout the World Cup, really.
But also, to have a World Cup where you probably wouldn't put any Brazil player in your best 11, that's a damning statement for a team of such history. Yeah,
I guess Vinny Jr. would.
But based purely on form and in terms of what they've produced this World Cup, Vinny Jr.'s probably just about been their standout. But
yeah, he's got 4 goals, hasn't he, to be fair to him?
But he's probably not getting in ahead of, well, any of the French front 4. Our main 2, etc. So, yeah, it was a bit of a sorry state. But Norway, to their credit, I mean, they are so resolute. And, I'll let you tell the story, but the investment.
Yeah. So I think with Norway, they had a spell in the early 90s where they were quite strong, competing in tournaments, and then obviously that kind of faded away. And to be fair to them, the government and the football federation in Norway decided that they needed to invest more money, more time, improve the coaching, improve the pitches. So they had more like 4G, all-weather pitches. And this has been a process of about 15, 16 years. And now we're seeing the benefits of it. They've got more academies. They've got a national football academy.
This is men and women as well, isn't it?
Yeah, scouting all the best young talent, and they go in there. And they're seeing the benefits now. They're in their first ever quarterfinal of World Cup. They could, without a doubt, they've got a great chance of getting through to a semi-final. The pressure's not really on them as much as it is on England, because England are expected to win, which I always hate that when we go into a massive game. And because Norway's not got that history in football in terms of competing always at the elite level.
The Iceland effect, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And England are expected to somehow win it and be comfortable when we all know it's going to, like we both said, it's a 50-50 game. It's a knockout game. It's a quarter-final. They got Premier League players who have played against our players a lot. They've got obviously Berg, who's at Fulham, who's a solid defensive.
Or linked to United, isn't he?
Absolutely. Odegaard, I think, has been really good in this tournament.
He's been a
Yeah, absolutely. He's finding the spaces. You know that he can find a pass. He can unlock a defence. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, exactly. I think Oscar. Yeah, sorry, mate. Oscar Bob. I think he's underrated. He's a good winger. He's tricky. Can beat people. They got Musa on the other side. I know he came off at half time, but has shown a lot in the World Cup already. Scored a great goal against d'Ivoire. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Cote d'Ivoire.
And who was his replacement?
And then there was a guy who came on for him and done brilliantly. He set up a
Begins
couple of
best,
goals
doesn't
now.
it?
Yeah, on the left. And he might start, to be honest, because he's been having quite a big impact.
Well, we were both shocked, weren't we? When Noosa came
Yeah.
off, we were like, "Oh, I don't know about that."
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And then he proved why.
Yeah. So a lot of talent there. It's
And
going
by
to
the
be
way,
a
their
really tough
keeper,
game. He was incredible. Yeah.
Jeff
I
Davis
mean,
at the
he
top.
was man of match, other than Haaland, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, that save that he made where the ball
Well,
ricocheted and it was, yeah. And obviously, yeah, the captain's playing at Brentford. So a lot of Premier League experience, a lot of quality, not to be underestimated in any way whatsoever. It's for me, it's a 50-50 game. Obviously, England, on paper, we've got arguably the better team, but we know in cup football, whatever stage you play, whatever league, cup football, everything goes out exactly. One-off games, 11 against 11, anything and everything can happen. Absolutely, mate. You can tell on the connection they got with their own fans, with the Viking sort of celebration that they do, which is brilliant. It's been fantastic to see at the World Cup. So they've got a real bond. Everyone's obviously going to be behind them in the country. And like you said, they really play as a team. They're all fighting for each other. They've got a really good team dynamic. And as we know, it's all right having these fantastic individuals like Haaland and Odegaard, but if they haven't got that team behind them, then they're not going to progress that well. And so that's a big factor that we've got to overcome, is that they're going to be full of confidence. They're the underdogs and they're a team, and they got obviously the killer, the machine, the beast up top, who only needs a split second to score a goal.
And possibly that Solbaken's decision to rest those players against France might be the best thing that he's done.
Yeah. The manager's done really well for him, actually, hasn't he? He made like bold decisions against Brazil. He took off the two wide men, brought two other wide men on.
Like you said.
And changed the game, really.
Yeah. And we did well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you think the lineup for the England team is going to be? Let's think about what Tuchel, the team that he's potentially going to set, providing. Let's look at if everyone is fit. Maybe not Reece James. We don't know his situation, but excluding maybe Reece James, obviously Jarell Quansah. If Gahey, Rice, and everyone is okay, what do you think his lineup will be? And then we'll look at maybe what the lineup will be if some of those players aren't fit. You think? Pickford in goal. Do you think so?
Yeah.
O'Reilly left back, Gahey, Quansah centre backs. Jed will come in at right back. Then we got Anderson, Rice, Bellingham, Saka, and then obviously Gordon and Kane up top. What do we think maybe if Gahey isn't fit? Because obviously there's rumours that he's got trouble with his hamstring, whether that's something that's a bit of a smokescreen. And then Rice, there's potentially he's obviously had trouble with his back, and now they're saying he's had a bit of an illness in the camp. I think it'd take a hell of a lot for Rice not to be playing. I can't see him not playing at all. I think he will run, like you said, he will run for a brick wall. So I would imagine that he's going to be involved. But supposing Gahey isn't, what do you think? Who do you think will come in? Do you think it'd be Dan Burn or John Stones?
I think I think there's a very good chance that it'll be. It's a difficult one, isn't it? I think there's a very good chance it'll be Quansah and Stones centre back with Jed right back, and I also think there's a very good chance it'll be Dan Burn and Stones with Quansah at right back. I think they're the two options. I wouldn't rush Reece James back. I don't see the point for when we talk about tournament play. If he's not ready to start at right back, don't start it. You know, I don't want a right back only fit for 60 minutes. That, especially when you've got limited resources.
Yeah, I think potentially if Gahey's not playing, it's an interesting one. I think you still got to keep Quansah centre back, and Stones would then maybe come in. I know there'd be an argument for Dan Burn because of his physicality against Haaland, but Stones obviously always trained against him every day, so he knows what he's going to like. And obviously Stones, I think, not obviously, but Stones on the ball is a better footballer. And then I guess Jed Spence will come in at right back. I can't really see another option unless he wanted to play Stones and Gahey and then move Quansah to right back. But I think you don't want to keep moving too many players. Not that, to be fair, Quansah will be playing that position at right back because he's done it a lot. But Gahey and Quansah probably been working on building a partnership, and maybe it'd be better to keep them there with O'Reilly left back because they trying to build that unit. If everyone's chopping and changing all the time, it makes it more difficult. And I guess then Jed will come in right back. No, I mean that's just a
What
freak.
a star.
I know, what a freak accident.
I know. One yellow card and no minutes and a double fracture your forearm and you're humerus. That's some story, isn't it?
Well, it's just.
You
I
could do
mean,
that 1,000 times and he'll never do that again.
yeah, I know. But the way that everyone talks about him is incredible, isn't it? Like all the way the
It's
players talk about him,
you're
like the
potentially looking
staff.
for a coach.
Yeah, it seems like if Tuchel is around for a long period and Henderson retires, he's going to be brought. It sounds like he's going to be brought in, doesn't it, as a
I would
coach?
I
You
would
could see
agree.
that. Do you know what I would? The way he's played, I know he's not played loads of minutes, but the way that he's looked and how comfortable he's looked, it feels like it looks like he can. It looks like he feels he can come onto this stage and just. Yeah, I'm the man. Do you know what I mean? He seems to have that bit of arrogance and an aura about him.
Yeah,
He's
agreed.
so calm, relaxed. He looks like he's got total belief in his ability. So I think I will move towards Eze, but I think Morgan Rogers will probably get the nod from Tuchel over him.
Fair enough.
Like I
And
said, I
do you
think it'd be Anderson, Bellingham, and Rogers.
to
Yeah, I
get
think the fact that he hasn't really figured at the moment would suggest that in terms of in those areas, he's probably a little bit down the pecking order, isn't he? Yeah, definitely. He's done brilliantly to get into the squad, hasn't he? From where he was at the start of the season to now. If you told him at the start of the season when Amram was the manager that at the end of the season he's going to be in the World Cup squad, potentially fighting for a place for a quarter final, then he probably wouldn't have believed you. But I know that is
these people just pluck out.
crazy. So yeah, I think that's probably the lineup that we feel is going to happen. And then I guess it just finally we finish with what the score predictions are going to be.
I am going the age-old 2-1 to the Ink. Saying that, I mean, we've had some goals. We've had a couple of games and a 4-2 and a 3-2. You know, so we leak goals worryingly. But
that is a worry, yeah.
But on the flip side, it's not unexpected based on what we've alluded to about the defence. I'm going 2-1. We're going to go Kane, then Haaland. We'll go 1-1, and then we're going to score in about the 80th minute, and we will go.
Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, I was thinking the same sort of scoreline, 2-1 to England. Kane, Bellingham, and probably Haaland.
It wouldn't shock me, by the way, if it was an extra time goal, an extra time game either, because I think Norway have a really, really solid setup.
No, they do. They do.
But you know, sometimes you do have to look at it and go, we've got. Oh, I know we put our Premier League on a pedestal, but we've got Premier League players, Real Madrid player, Bayern Munich players. We're talking elite top leagues, and at some point, as Anthony Barry and Thomas Tuchel have said, you have to go out there and find that next level and go, no, this is what Premier League's about. You know, Norway's defence, barring Aja at Brentford, is more minor countries in kind of respect to the Premier League. So I'm hoping that, this game shows that. And, you keep the two big dogs up front quiet, or as quiet as you can do.
Yeah.
Because as you said earlier, Haaland he's not going to have lots of touches of the ball. It's not like he's going to do a.
Yeah, no, he will. He will. You've got to try and stop the flow, haven't you?
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, we've got.
Yeah. Do you know? Yeah, absolutely. We found out in Euros in the quarterfinals, they are with like Xhaka in there.
Oh, Rodriguez still playing. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
He's playing forever.
Yeah. They've got a lot of experience, a lot of tournament experience. I don't think that's quite. Everyone's sort of saying Argentina are going to win, but Argentina, the last two games have really found it hard to get past Cape Verde. And
Argentina they've not really been free flowing, have they? They've had 2-0 down against Egypt and incredible, passion, commitment, all the kind of non-footballing qualities to get back into it and add obviously the ability as well. But Egypt, they could have been 3-0. Had they not had the goal disallowed, which is still very contentious, they could have been 3-0 down and, completely out of there.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think I would agree, mate. I think I would agree. Right, so all those that are listening, what would your semi-final predictions be? What do you think about the England-Norway game coming up? The threat of Haaland, Odegaard, the threat of England, Kane, Bellingham, Anthony Gordon, all those, Saka. So,
Tuchel effect.
Yeah, the Tuchel effect. Love to hear all your views. Okay, thank you for listening.
Come on, England.
Come on, England. And see you soon. Thank you.